Come out and show you here where they're cutting this timber. So we had an ecosystem that was overgrown and getting in its final stages of succession. And now we've come out with these big tractors and we've cut it all down. So I'll show you a few pieces of this equipment and what they're doing. And of course with time this will be set through and go through a secondary succession process. So here behind me we have a saw down machine. And this machine here is what's actually going to be cutting the trees down. And we have this big front end over here that wraps around the tree and a saw blade at the bottom that's going around. Okay? So let's go over and take a closer look at it. Guys, now we're looking at the head of the saw down machine, and right here are the big teeth that are cutting into the tree. And so this comes up to the base of the tree, and this piece here clamps around the tree, and then the blade saws the tree down. They're able then to carry the tree and lay it to a pile. Here we have a big skidder machine, and so when they saw the trees down and lay them on the ground, they use this big grapple end over here to carry the trees. So you can see the size of this machine is I'm 6 foot tall. Pretty big equipment here to move those trees out of this ecosystem. So they'll take this skidder and the grapple and they'll pull them into piles. Here you're seeing one of the big piles of trees. So once they're sawed, the skidder will bring them over and create these big piles. Now you notice here they still have the limbs on them. So with the limbs on them, we need to get rid of those limbs and measure the tops and bottoms so that they can go out to lumber production. So we'll show you the machine that does that now. So here behind me we have a delimber and a saw machine that cuts the trees to certain lengths and gets them ready to load and be carried off to the sawmill. Okay guys, you should be able to see right here we have a big chainsaw-like blade and it pivots down. So the tree lays right here, and as it's pulled through we break the limbs off, and then this machine just comes down and cuts it into whatever size that we need. And so you can see here is a root that's been cut off each side, okay? And then from there they simply lay it in this big pile here. And now you can see all this timber. Nice even cut bottoms. Alright, so we've cut the bottoms. Now we have the tops cut to a specific diameter that we want. The last step now is to load them onto one of the big log trucks and take them to the sawmill. So in review, here you see a set of planted pines right here behind me, a little small set of planted pines. And so they'll bring in, over here they'll bring in a saw down machine, saw them, lay them on the ground. They'll use that skidder to put them and place them in a pile until they're ready. When they're in that pile, they have all the limbs. Then they bring them over to the delimber and sizing equipment that cuts the limbs off, cuts them to a certain diameter at top and bottom, and then they're ready to go to the sawmill. So here we're seeing pine trees that are about 22 to 23 years old. They've went through all the stages of growth, producing pine needles, and now they have finally produced timber. So you might think that we are going through deforestation or cutting down a forest, but we're not. We're farming timber. And so the farm grew, and it created a useful ecosystem during that time, but now it's creating a useful product for us. This field will eventually be replanted with pines, and they'll regrow.